Hey everybody, it's Sal with Gun Barrel Coffee. We're live today on Coffee and Bullshit episode 119 or 119, however you want to say it. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, the big news is the Seventh Circuit Court ruling on the assault weapon ban. It's in air quotations because most people are a bunch of idiots when it comes to weapons. Anybody who knows it's not really an assault weapon. Those are been outlawed since 1932 or something like that. Then again, it was defined sometime in, I believe, in the 60s. I could be wrong. But hey, if you want to know more about the Seventh Circuit Court ruling here for Illinois on the assault weapon ban, check out Freedom Steel. He has a lot more information. Real smart guy. Check out his videos. We do know that this will be going now to the Supreme Court. I believe it's going to go to the Supreme Court. It should be. And then get a ruling, definite ruling on the meaning of the Second Amendment and our rights here in Illinois and other states that are fighting this assault weapon ban. Yes, people are idiots there, Chris. Thank you. The Battleship is a great coffee, twice roasted dark. Check it out. Order it online. Gunbarrelcoffee.com. Use GBC 10 to save 10% on your next order. But yes, so it came down yesterday, late afternoon, on the ruling. It was a decision that most of us already knew was going to happen, right? It was going to happen because of who was the panel, the 3-judge panel. Even though one of them is I want to say he was a Bush appointed, but he is just an idiot. I can't remember his name. Sorry, I don't know it. If anybody out there knows it, then you know. You want to put it up? Sorry, I'm trying to look at TikTok. Thanks everybody joining us on all social media platforms. It's going to be a short show today, about 15 minutes long. Got to get out to the Kane County Flea Market in Illinois. Kane County Flea Market. It's today and tomorrow. So Brian's out there doing that. Was going to get a co-host, but I can only find these two. Was going to ask Bobby from Patriot Frog, but I forgot to give him a call early enough to see if he can come out and join me. Probably next Saturday is Veterans Day. To let you know, we will be here at the shop and at dang it, it's on the website. It's on Facebook and Instagram. Will be Saturday. It's right in St. Charles, Illinois. At the I should have grabbed the paper for it. I want to say D&G Brewing, but I don't think it's D&G. I could be wrong, but it's in St. Charles on 5th Avenue, if I remember correctly. I'll be there, or Brian will be there. One of us two will be there, supporting Canine for Veterans and support Over Stigma. All money proceeds are going to go to them from the liquor sales and raffles, and even some from anybody who purchased coffee that day at the event. The money will go to that too. So hopefully it's a nice warm day. Last year we did it a week prior to Veterans Day. Am I gonna miss out? I don't know I can't remember what time it goes till. I think it's like noon to 5 or something like that. I could be wrong, maybe 6. I don't think before the lights go out, when it gets dark. Because now it's going to get dark earlier. Because tonight, don't forget to set back your clocks. What else got going? Sorry, I'm trying to get this all done. It's got a raging migraine going on today. I think today's the day where I'm supposed to do the shot in the leg to help out with it. But I should have took one of my pills. I didn't. I was kind of stubborn about it. Warsaw Patriot, how you doing, buddy? Uh, is there any people can watch the hearings on the new law? So yes, my next thing I was going to have here. The Illinois State Police did have a thing. I didn't get to watch all of it. I only got to watch bits and pieces and hear what other people were talking about. Uh, some of the questions that were answered, I know one was a pretty good one. If you're an airsoft guy and you have attachments for your airsoft, does your airsoft attachments have to be registered? Oh my God. I mean, because stuff are interchangeable. I don't know. This whole thing with registering your, I'm not going to say if you need to or don't need to, but 0.1% has registered their stuff. Hey, Freedom Steel's here. I said, watch his stuff on YouTube. I couldn't figure out how to place a link to it. So, Todd, if you want to place a link in here in the comments, more than welcome to get it to your YouTube stuff. I wish I got him. If you have a minute, if you'd like to join us, Todd, I'd really love you to join us. I think I put. Did I put the link up there for if anybody wants to? If you want to join, let me see. Let me do this real quick. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time here, but please feel free to join us, and I will get you on here and talk more about this. I am no expert at all. Todd is an expert. He's gone to many cases and battled it out with the gun grabbers. What else? And gosh, I should be wearing my glasses, but I'm not, so it's hard. Oh, Todd's on the. He's working, so he's moving cars for tonight's shoot. You know what? I wish I can find more time to go shooting. I should really hone up on my skills, as we know what's going on around the world. I think they got 3 aircraft carriers now in the Mediterranean, Middle East area. Bunch of Marines. Hey, you Marines out there, keep up good work. I guess you won't be having any balls coming up on the 10th, but happy birthday. And what I mean by balls, it's their dance, or they get dressed up all pretty and get their dress blues on, blood strips, all that stuff. Oh, I got somebody who wants to pop on. It's Warsaw.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Warsaw? How you doing? Oh, and I got there's 3 of us, and I also got Todd up here too.
Hey guys.
How's the view up there, Todd?
Fine. I'm on an excavator. We're getting ready for our 2-gun tactical night shoot out here at ASC. And I'm sitting in an excavator because I have to move a bunch of cars around to get them in the right places for the various stages for tonight. So that's what I'm working on. So I just I just got in here a couple of minutes ago. So what questions or what were you asking about?
Well, asking about, so is the next level going to be the Supreme Court because of the current ruling?
That depends. We are. This stuff is never in a straight line. It's not like that at all. We were on a phone call with lawyers earlier this afternoon, looking at some things, and everybody is going through and parsing the decision from yesterday to sit there and figure out what it actually says. We had just amended our complaint in the Southern District to include the registration components, and they said a couple things about registration yesterday in the ruling, and we have to figure out how that plays. They've also doubled down on stupid with saying Friedman is still good law. You know, a decision that said feelings were good enough. Um,
Correct.
so we're trying to figure out there are some other procedural rules within the Supreme Court and everything that we just have to get our arms around and figure everything out because, like I said, it's not a straight line. There's a lot of little things that are going on here. And the minutia when you're playing at this level of a chess game makes an incredible difference.
Correct.
So,
Warsaw, do you have any questions? Let me see if I can get you on.
I mean, I heard you say something about a question about airsoft parts. So,
Correct. Yes, because they were one of the things I saw on the live thing. Somebody was explaining was your accessories on airsoft equipment. You can, you have to register your airsoft. Uh,
well, what it was is there was a question about whether or not a pistol grip is the attachment and does it have to be registered?
correct.
And they said yes. And then they went on to say, the question went on to say, what about a pistol grip on another, like their AR style pistol grips
Correct.
are since they're so prevalent, are used on a lot of other guns. They are used on shotguns, they are used on bolt guns, they are used on a lot of other stuff. And the question was, do you still have to do something with it? And the attorney for ISP said, yeah. So if you watch my testimony, that's when I got up there and said, okay, you just expanded the gun ban. And this is where it gets a little tricky, and I'll be talking about this more in another video. But
Correct.
what it is that, take the Ruger American with its chassis on it, right?
Yes.
So it uses an AR pistol grip because why design a new pistol grip when you've got one of the most prevalent pistol grips available, right?
Correct.
So with that, uh, hang on just a second. We'll come
Yeah.
back and move it in a bit. Unhook it. We'll move it back. We're just moving these cars. So by doing that, what they're saying is while the bolt action rifle will be exempt under Section 1.9, which says that any manually operated firearm is exempt from the prohibition. What they're saying is because that has an attachment that is otherwise prohibited, the attachment is prohibited and you would have to register it. So you take it to the next logical conclusion, and the fact is that if that is a prohibited attachment, regardless of whether or not it sits on an AR or a semi-auto, it's still a prohibited attachment. And therefore, in my assessment, the uh, the Ruger American in that configuration is illegal to sell in Illinois, just as a Mossberg 500 with an M4 style stock buffer tube and pistol grip that you see Mossberg selling a lot of.
Right.
And this got me into an interesting debate with somebody on Reddit, and they're saying, well, that's not what they said. I said, look, I'm just taking it to its logical conclusion. She said if you had a pistol grip, even absent an AR, it's an item that has to be registered. So it doesn't matter if it's attached to a bolt gun, a shotgun, or whatever. They're considering that pistol grip in and of itself contraband per se.
And even with kids' toy guns, you can have those attachments on, toy guns that kids play with. So do they have
Right.
to be registered too? Right. I mean, it
It,
makes no
it,
sense.
it appears that they do. It
Yes.
appears that if it is any way, shape, or form an attachment, I mean, and part of the argument I was having was, it doesn't matter. Let's say you've got 4-inch handguard for an AR.
Hmm.
You don't own an AR, but you're using it as a pencil cup on your desk. According to the state police, it has to be registered.
That's just stupid. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's going to get even worse as I look. The more I look at this, the crazier it gets. There are new things that I keep like. How did I not see that before? But you just got to understand how freaking convoluted this whole thing is in
Correct.
order to get any sort um, of a understanding about how broad and how wide. And I'm having an argument with a couple of guys online, and they're like, "Why do you keep giving them more stuff?" It's not that I want to give them more. I mean, you don't get to make the law up as you go along. What you don't get to do is you don't get to sit there and ignore the black letter of the law and say, well, that's not covered. Like they tried saying with the tubular magazine extensions for shotguns. Well, they're
Right.
not covered. The black letter of the law says they are. And then they turn around and they ignore things that are in the law, and then they sit there and they try to add things that aren't in the law about what FFLs can or can't do. The law clearly says that if you want to liquidate your assault rifle collection, you can sell them to an FFL for them to sell out of state. Yet they turn around and say you can't acquire as an FFL inventory to have for law enforcement sales or otherwise.
Right.
It's and so when I say, they don't get to make the law up as they go along, they don't get to take stuff out of it just because it's uncomfortable. They don't get to add stuff to it that's not there. That's what it is. And look, if I believe that I am firmly right about 870s, 1100s, Super Black Eagles, Winchester Super X 2, 3s, and 4s, that they all become prohibited because of the magazines that they are readily convertible to. And the state has not offered any definition of readily converted to. And we know that and I said this in my testimony, that the federal government in Vanderstock said 8 hours with the machine shop. That's readily converted, readily restored. Okay? So what are the state police going to do? They're kind of screwed no matter which way they go, because what are you going to do? You're going to say 30 seconds? It's an unreasonable standard. But
Right.
I guess we'll all be having, competition to see how fast we can change the base plate on a Glock magazine.
Yeah.
But this is where words mean things. And what they don't want to do, they absolutely do not want to come out and say 870s are banned under the act because of the magazines. The legislature doesn't want to go back in and fix it because they see any change in the law to be paramount to an admission that we're right.
Correct. Yeah.
And so they're kind of looking at state police to fix stuff. And I got a feeling I will be sitting in front of a federal judge, raising my right hand and giving expert testimony at some point about how all these things read. And then we have these hearings where, and everybody's like, well, why? What's the point? The point is that people like Glenn Sanders, who asked the original question about magazine tubes, that got one response, and then this guy that wrote in and asked a question about pistol grips at yesterday's hearing, all of that is getting them on the record. And if the state police keep changing their tune, then that's all beneficial to us when we go to court.
Okay. And he will be talking more about this on his podcast. Freedom Steel. Freedom Steel.
Yep, I will
Check it
be.
out.
I think tomorrow I'm going to do my Obi-Wan video.
Okay.
Speaking of that, Todd, I like to address that lightsaber you addressed in court. I mean, that was just astounding. Like, you point that out, the parts that were literally made into the lightsaber. I'm like, I never even thought of that.
Hey, my son is a big Star Wars geek, and I grew up with the movies. My wife is a Trekkie, but um, we sit there, and I was helping do some stuff for him with lightsabers, and I have a lathe and I like fooling around with that stuff. And it's like, okay, I mean, we are now 2022, 2023. There's got to be somebody that knows what these things were. And sure enough, I did not realize how big the lightsaber community in this country was.
Oh
And
yeah.
all the different things that are out there. And that led, one thing led to another. And back in the 70s, when they were doing the original Star Wars movies, it was all, they were building stuff. They didn't think about going to machine shops and completely just fabricating from a drawing something or any of that. They just started cobbling things together to what looks cool. And that's what they did. And since it is a grenade launcher, because the statute makes no difference for a grenade launcher that is either attachable to a actual semi-auto, or if it goes on a bolt action or whatever. They don't see a difference. They just wrote grenade launcher, and they didn't define grenade launcher. So they have no understanding about what the World War I, World War II stuff was, and that's what there is. So they're stuck with the law they passed, and I'm just more than happy. This is why I argued that our side should not be negotiating with them. Now we have to talk about certain things within the act right now as these rules are making their way through the process. We're not trying to give them a roadmap to everything, but we have to talk about certain things just so that we can elicit an answer from them and give them, the enough information and rope to hang themselves.
Well, how about a flare gun, the 37 millimeter flare gun?
It depends, because ATF has some funny classifications on those, but that came up in the original hearing we had in Southern Illinois, where Mr. Mag, one of the attorneys in one of the other cases, found out and just looked and said, he said, that's not a grenade launcher. That's actually, like you said, a 37 millimeter flare gun. But the state has offered no definition of what's the difference.
Yeah.
And so, who knows?
Back to the pistol grip topic. We talked about airsoft. I was looking at some crossbows, and sure enough, what's on the crossbow? It's an 8.2 grip. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's going to be contraband too.
I guess it could be. I mean, anything is possible. We have no idea how far, but now that you mentioned that, I'll try to put that in my little memory bank here so that when we go to court, we can bring that up based on what they said. I mean, I wasn't trying to really pick on them a whole lot, but know this. The state police are in a no-win situation. They're an agent of the state. So if law enforcement can't figure out what there is, and if law enforcement keeps changing their tune as to what's out there, and well, no, on today this is legal. Tomorrow it's illegal. 3 days from now, well, it's kind of legal. It all points to some other claims that we have within. I mean, we just amended our complaint. In the Southern District, we're adding some vagueness stuff to it. We're adding the registrations components to it. And our strategy on this is evolving to try to figure out what we've got.
For more stuff, check out Todd's videos. Very informational, very smart guy. He is probably one of the top guys here in Illinois and probably in the United States, I would say.
Yep. Also, there's also a guy we also follow, Greg Bishop, Bishop on Air on YouTube. He does a show every morning, and he gives updates with the cases going on, too.
Yes. And the guy from Four Diners,
Four Boxes Diners.
Four Box Diners, yes. Washington State.
I had a chance to talk to Mark Smith at Gun Rights Policy Conference. It was a short conversation. He agrees with the theories that I've been putting forward on a lot of stuff. It was a great conversation with things. And I gave him a shout out in the committee hearing yesterday, just to kind of tweak some people's noses. But Mark's a great resource. He's got a very good take on things, and it's not clickbait when he puts a title out there or anything like that. So.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, Todd and Warsaw. I got to cut this short. I got to get out to the King County and resupply Brian with coffee. So I want to thank everybody for joining us. Sorry I didn't talk a lot, but Todd did a lot. So thank you, Todd.
No problem, guys.
All right. Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Warsaw, we'll talk to you next time. All right, bud?
Yep, sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you. And everybody out there, be safe. Keep your head on a swivel.